Currently, as of recording, almost all tunes in Danger World have 3 hearts, or 3 HP points, 4 if your name is Sylvester, but there's a rarity of tune who have less than 3 hearts, those being the mains. They have 2. What happened to the third? Oh no. This has been a topic on my mind for a while now. Why is their third heart broken? That's what we're going to be delving into in today's video. So get comfortable and let's have a go at it. That sounded way better in my head. Firstly, let's give the actual heart itself a look. The mains, as we saw earlier, have 2 regular hearts along with a broken one with the same texture as Ichor, or as the wiki calls it, a main character heart. So we can infer from that this heart will be likely only exclusive to mains in the future too. Gameplay-wise, it's likely there to have a trade-off where the mains having an overall better kit than most of the tunes. However, I think there might be a reason lore-wise behind it too. And I wouldn't have made or had this video idea in the first place if I didn't think about it lore-wise too. So let's get into the actual question of this video. Why do they have a broken heart? After some thinking, I've landed on this theory. This one made the most overall sense to me, but I don't have a name for it yet, so let's just call it the distressing thoughts theory. The theory is that this main character heart represents the most prominent troubles or distressing thoughts that each main has. I'll look into each main we have currently as of late June 2026 later, so let me explain this theory more and tell you how it works. So how does this theory work? If we look at all the mains and their twisted descriptions, they seem to have at least one prominent cause or source of distress, give or take how distressing it is, however it is still there. In some cases, it's the reason they turn twisted, and can be observed in their twisted forms. In most, if not all cases, they have these thoughts while they're attuned too. So this makes sense of the main character heart being present in their tune counterparts too. Let's look at each main one by one and break down said source of distress, and overall dive a bit deeper into this. Yippee! Okay, why did I do that? I'd like to start off with Berry Boy, okay, sorry Sprout, as he's one of the mains who's here all year round, who we have the most information on, as he recently, well, not really recently, but got his tune of the week. As we know, he's extremely overprotective of his friends. It's even in his passive's name, especially his best friend Cosmo. His source of distress as a tune is likely thinking of said friends in danger, as he's shown to panic when he thinks his another tune is in danger. It's even evident in his Twisted. He follows Twisted Cosmo around as if still trying to protect him even if they're both twisted. And fear failure of protecting his friends likely is his most prominent source of distress for him as a tune.
Here's a step-by-step guide to becoming a fossil.
Next we have Shelly, whose source of distress is way more obvious or more outwardly shown than Sprout's. That being suffering from blatant ignorance from her fellow tunes. In most of her interactions, she's either ignored, told to that she'll be talked to later, or just forgotten that she's there entirely. It's even stated in her twisted description that her being forgotten and or ignored led to her downfall. So that aids the theory pretty well.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Moving on, we have V. V is, well, blunt to say the least. However, her source of distress, as shown by the tape on her floor, is her being quote-unquote upgraded to V version 2. However, the game setting is most likely post-shutdown Garden View, so unless Delilah is still hanging around, which I might make a separate video on, I don't think that's it. It could also be her fear of possibly coming off as rude, however, I don't think it's that either. She also has a more protective side, shown in her dialogue with Astro, so part of it could be possibly that. Next up are a few more obvious ones, being the event mains, Bassie, Bobette, and Gordy, who I want to touch up on something with them. While yes, their issues are more explained and shown outwardly, Bassie's jealousy towards Coco and fear of being replaced, Bobette being overworked and overloaded with responsibilities, Gordy missing his parents, we do get to see them turn into Twisteds in real time, in their respective holiday music videos, which I think is pretty neat. It shows that they do have their issues even as a tune, which just ain't in this theory. Pretty nice. So now we're throwing a slight curveball. Two, actually. Astro and Pebble. They're not shown with issues, not outwardly at least. However, I might have something plausible for them. In Twisted Astro's description, it mentions that he's overwhelmed with guilt and despair, which I might have an explanation for that aids this theory. We know that he's likely the closest tune to Dandy. In fact, he was likely the second ever tune made right after Dandy. And as we know right now, Dandy runs the Icar operation, and said operation might be the reason all of the tunes are turning into Twisteds. Well, most of them at least. Astro might feel guilty for not possibly noticing sooner, or knowing and not telling anyone because snitching, however, I doubt the latter. As for the despair part, it's likely that he knows that this Icar operation is possibly turning tunes into Twisteds, and he can do nothing about it, while being a Twisted himself. Now, for Pebble, this one also ties back to Dandy, his owner. Possibly him missing Dandy as he's busy because of the Icar operation. However, this explanation for him feels a little bit strange to me. It's been said that Dandy isn't a bad owner to Pebble, so tell me your thoughts about it in the comments below. Okay, so that's it. The main character heart represents a distressing thought or train of thought that weighs the mains down, literally or mentally and or physically. That's my theory on a seemingly lackluster and overlooked, or at least in my opinion, part of the game. It could also explain how, in their twisted forms, Icar seems to affect them more drastically, making them larger and giving them elongated limbs and whatnot. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have another theory, more explanation or thoughts, or anything really, put it down in the comments. I love reading all your comments. I do want to make a video or two on another game. I've been seeing Animal Hospital and Toon Universe a lot. Tell me if you'd like a video or two on that. Also, apologies for if my voice sounds a bit weird. It's like 7 a.m. right now. So, yeah, sorry about that. And also tell me if you like this style of video, a more explanatory style. I've kind of gotten inspired by MDN, Dandelion, and Archelium. Their channels are awesome. Please go watch them. Yeah, that's kind of it. Oh, and I almost forgot to say, I'll likely be making a separate video for all of the mains. Each of them gets their own one. Or at least most of them, as many as I can, as I want to delve more into their lore and personality, possibly gameplay too, and making each of them in their own separate video is likely the most effective way to do so. Oh, and don't worry, my gameplay and OC stuff isn't going anywhere either. I also might be making a possible Toon or Twisted reworking series, so tell me if you'd want that. I've tried dabbling a bit in game design, and I wanted to see how that goes. Oh, and also my birthday is on June 29, which is pretty close as of now. I'll likely not make a video on it, just a post, but it would absolutely make my day if you possibly maybe left a like or subscribe. Okay, I think I'm asking for a bit too much. Thanks. So with that, that's actually it this time. Thanks for watching. Remember that you are loved and cherished. Bye, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you.